Jonathan Ross Show. Let's take a look and see who we've got in my green room for you tonight. It's always a delight to spend time with my first guest. Every time we have him on the show, he's a whirlwind of fun. It's Mr. David Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That's a show right there. But also on the programme tonight, a true legend of world cinema. The one, the only, Sir Michael Caine, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Michael Caine. My next guest is a brilliant comedian and presenter whose travelogues have taken it everywhere, including right up the Ganges. It is, of course, Sue Perkins. You have been there, haven't you, Sue? And alongside them, the most decorated man in British athletics, a true national treasure, our second night of the evening, Sir Mo Farah. And finally, to round off the show, a singer who has 2.6 billion streams worldwide thanks to songs like Paradise, Budapest and the smash hit Shotgun. It is Mr. George Ezra, ladies and gentlemen. What a lovely young man, Georgie. And he'll be chatting and singing at the end of the show. So, of course, it's nearly Christmas. You all ready for Christmas, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah! Nor am I. And so, the decorations are going up all up and down the country. Now, we all like to see what our neighbours are doing to their houses, but some people maybe take it too far. Have a look at this one, see what you think of that. That's someone who really wanted their ding-dong merrily on high. But the most remarkable thing about that is I didn't even know David Williams had a house in Reading.
It's to scale as well.
Yeah. My favourite bit in that picture, though, is the bloke standing in the window at the top, because he's right in the danger zone. Now, as some of you may well know, I'm not very keen on football. I mean, I like to watch the World Cup, but I don't watch it on a regular basis. But I saw a clip from a match in Argentina this week, and it has finally captured my interest. If every match was like this, I would watch it all the time. Take a look at this. That's amazing, isn't it? Two things about that. First of all, I was impressed he ran past the post without weeing against it. But secondly, you might think he just saved one goal, but that's one human goal. In dog goals, that was 7 he saved. Let's get my first guest out, shall we? Yeah. He's a comedian, he's a Britain's Got Talent judge, and he is the best-selling author of last year, the amazing Mr. David Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. I wasn't ignoring you.
You were ignoring me.
Lovely people here.
Well, you enjoyed that. You like the attention, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I crave it.
Well, you've earned it, David. You've earned it.
You're very kind.
Christmas, are you all ready for Christmas? Have you got all your presents done, all your decorations up? We've seen the outside of your house, but inside, is that what it is?
Inside, it's very much the same story. I'm sort of ready, but there's always someone you forget to buy a gift for.
Why?
And that's always worrying. Someone who... Like tonight, you gave me a gift.
I gave David a lovely gift.
I didn't buy anything for you.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't buy me anything last year either.
You're not on the list, I'll just be honest with you. It's quite select.
That's pretty harsh.
But I'll probably give you a candle or something. I'll probably re-gift you something.
Yeah.
So a box of chocolates I got last year. Well, no, actually, no, not chocolates, not a good idea. A candle.
A candle will be
lovely. A scented candle.
Give me the one
with a very strong scent. That's the one you need.
You know, this is exciting news, because I love Britain's Got Talent. I love it ever since David's been doing it. I love that show. OK, you turned that show around, you've made it amazing. It's coming back. It's true, though. It's true. You're coming back with it next year. When do you start recording?
About January the 20th, I think.
And do you look forward to that, or is there a sense of dread as well? Because obviously, some of the acts are amazing, and some of them are amazingly funny, but there must be a lot which are just, it's just kind of hard to sit there through.
They're the ones I love. Like, we had this incredible man. Did you see him? He was, like, from Japan. And he was naked, and he had, like, little sort of... little bits of cloth. Do you remember this man? Well, you know, he sort of make things... He'd pull it away and the thing would... I mean, it's hard for me to explain.
Well, but, you know what's amazing is, that's the clip we chose. That was the one we had.
He was the standout act of last year.
In every way.
If there was any justice, he would have won.
Let's have a look.
Jump in, Cole. Jump in.
Jump in!
Let's give this a drum roll.
I wonder what I'm going to say. It's a yes from me!
Amazing. Well, that is talent. That is talent. Okay.
Family entertainment at its finest.
His name is Kazuhisa Uekusa. That's his name.
I
now,
knew that.
I'm just going to show you this clip because the difference in the reaction that David has and Simon has, you're standing up already and you're jubilant. Look at that.
I think he can't stand up because he's aroused.
When you
And
see...
he's hiding his face because he just had a lot of plastic surgery done, so he added the whole series like that.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't want people to see his face.
His hand was grafted onto his head to get rid of the wrinkles.
Stuck there.
Did you try any of that at home? No, when you see anything like that, you must have tried that at home with a cup and a hanky.
I haven't actually. But
I'm
going
going to try it. Well, look, tonight...
You're going to try it.
I'm going to try it tonight, not here on the show. When I get home, I'm going to try it, and I want you to try it at the same time. Let's get on our phones, let's put the phones there, and I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and we'll do it at the same time and see who gets the cup to stay in place.
Why don't we just do it in the same room? If you were to come on Britain's Got Talent,
Yes.
what would your act be?
What wouldn't I
Because
do?
it's unclear what it is you do.
Wow.
It's sort of unclear, because I've been watching you for many years.
Wow.
I've really worked it out to you. You're some kind of entertainer, but it's hard to tell at what. What is it you do?
I'm now in the middle of quite a deep and profound existential crisis. Here's the exciting news is I believe Simon Cowell is bringing back the Celebrity X Factor. And I believe, has he talked about maybe you
He
going
said
on
that
as
he'd
a
like
contestant?
me to be on it, and I would love to be on it.
As a contestant?
Yes.
And what? And this is it's
I
mainly.
would sing the hits of Sunita in
Wow.
a medley, because they're all written about him.
Yeah.
And I would come out in some of Sunita's outfits as well.
You'd wear a spectacular gown.
Yes, and I would love it because I'm actually completely I can't sing a note and I can't dance.
Can you not sing at all?
I don't think so. So macho, he's gotta be. So macho, he's gotta be big and strong and love to turn me on and on and on. You see, I can't
can
sing.
you can sing.
Can I?
You could be in Take That.
Yeah,
What about Strictly? You must have been asked to do Strictly.
but my mum would like me to do Strictly.
Yeah.
I don't think I have been asked to do. Have you been asked to do Strictly?
I don't. Well, one of the dancers asked me, but you know what they're
That's
like.
not the same.
No.
I would like to do it
Yeah.
because there's two reasons. One is you get to lose weight.
Yes.
It's a brilliant way to lose weight.
Yeah.
And the second thing, you often get close with a professional dancer.
Yes.
So I want Anton de Beck. That's my dream.
OK, so here's the exciting news. David has a new book out, and you've written a lot of books, but this new book, it's a big one. It's The Ice Monster. OK, just out now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't clap your own book.
Oh.
But I've been reading this one. I'm really enjoying
How
it.
far have you got?
I've got up to Lady Buckshot comes into
That's
it.
quite early.
Well, it's fairly early, but it's further than I've got in any of your books so far. Well, to be fair, they're not for me.
Well, no, they're a bit grown up for you. You'd be better off with the picture books.
But this is Victorian.
The story is all set in Victorian London, and it's about a woolly mammoth that's found under the ice in the Arctic. It's brought to the Natural History Museum in ice, and this little homeless girl finds a way to bring it back to life.
A little homeless girl called Ellie.
Elsie.
Exactly.
If you'd have read it.
Now,
Yes.
David's books have been translated into... do you know how many languages they've been translated
Well,
into?
I've been told it's 53.
53 languages.
I can't name 53.
I didn't know there were that many languages. 53 languages. We've got a few of them here. This is a Japanese one. This is Gangster Granny in
Yeah.
Japanese. Shogakukan is the name of that book in Japanese. Now, what we thought we'd do is we translate it, because obviously they've translated Gangster Granny, and we used an online thing to translate it back. to see what it would say it was. So, Gangster Granny was translated back from the Japanese as, is Grandma huge?
That's not what the
So that's what you've written. Well, apparently, no wonder they're disappointed in Japan when they write it. OK, here we have another one. Now, this is Awful Auntie, your book Awful Auntie. This translates into Japanese as Shogakukan, and that translates back as Awesome Owl in the World.
Really?
Yes.
That's the title of the book?
It sounds, to be honest with
Awesome
you...
Owl in the World.
That...
Why is there two owls?
That sounds like a better book, don't you think?
It's intriguing.
Not one, two awesome owls.
Awesome Owl.
We've got a bunch of other ones here. There's, in Polish, Mr. Stink was translated as Pan smrodek kapisi tilkowi oksiu ładnym, which translates back as Mr. Smrodek only drips in a garden pond. What amazing success we've had all over the world. I mean, OK, but here's the most bizarre thing. Obviously, you get a lot of letters from the kids who read your book.
Mainly children.
And then you get letters from women as well.
I get, sometimes, I know it seems hard to believe, but I get amorous letters from ladies.
Would you like to read some of this out for us? Because it surprised me that, and this is, she's presumably responding to you. Do you think she's responding to you because of Britain's Got Talent, or Little Britain, or the books, or just your manly presence?
I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Read out a couple of highlights. This is the kind of mail David Williams.
Well, this is a lady who's she basically is recounting a dream that she had about me. I was at a gin festival with some friends, and you were there, and we stood in front of each other, and there was this amazing chemistry. We were very close, not touching, but nearly touching. God, it was so hot. Then we were in a restaurant, which is also your house, and we kiss, and it's so lovely, but we have to hide from your mum. I always bring my mum on dates. So we get into bed fully clothed and kiss some more. Now it gets really hazy. I know your mum doesn't find us, but in the end, I end up in a changing room trying to have a shower, while you try to woo me with a cheese-covered conker.
That's steamy.
I think we know what she means by that. I mean, I love it,
Yeah.
because it's a crazy thing when you get loads and loads of letters from people, because you see a window into their world.
Do you, presumably you write back to the kids sometimes. Did you write back to that woman?
I sent her a cheese-covered conker. Sent back by return of post. I haven't replied yet.
OK,
I don't know what to write.
Well, maybe you don't have to now. We've discussed it on the show.
I'll be delighted.
I mean, because you're single, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So, I mean, this could be quite a nice thing for you. This could be a...
Yeah, it could be.
You could have found a...
We'll see.
I mean, that could work out well.
I'm just sort of waiting for a question, to be honest with you.
It's just because I like you and I like having you out here.
Well, that's very kind. I like you too. I actually...
Yeah, but
you know what? I love you.
Well, I love you too, but I wrote you a letter and you didn't even answer it when I mentioned David Williams, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous David Williams. Thank you. Don't go away, because still to come on the show, we're chatting to the legendary Sir Michael Caine. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled to say my dear friend David Williams is still here, but let's get my next guest out. He is a double Oscar winner, who you know from his iconic roles in The Italian Job, Zulu, and Alfie, and modern classics like the Dark Knight trilogy, Youth, and Inception. Let's just remind ourselves of him doing what he does best.
Well, you all settled in? Right, we can begin. My name is...
Alfie.
Alfie.
You have forgotten your name.
In truth, his name is Michael Caine, and no one will forget his name. Michael Caine, who's never far away from a girl, and always closer than close to trouble.
Bromhead. 24. That's my post. Up there.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly...
Unemployed!
This is my island in the sun.
Oh, my name isn't Dr. Emil Schaffhausen. It's a solid.
Look, Doctor, he's so happy he's crying.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
That's the line. Here he is. It's Sir Michael Caine. There you go. Sir Michael Caine, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Come on, have a seat, sir.
Hello. Great to see you. Good to see you.
Michael, so lovely to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. People will have noticed you've got a stick there. You broke your ankle early in the year. I think it was February, wasn't it?
Yeah, in February. It takes a long time to get better. If you have a broken ankle, everywhere you go, the lift's out of order. You'll notice that. You'll see that.
But most people, I think, they would say, OK, well, I've got to rest up now, and I'll stay home and rest up. But you use the time very productively, because that's when you wrote your book.
Yeah, in the book, I'd say something which I'd say to my grandchildren, my children, if you find a bad situation, try to use the difficulty and find something good in it. And I thought, I'm sitting here for weeks with this broken ankle. Use the difficulty. So I wrote the book.
Wow. That's a great thing. Here it is. I'm going to ask you to read out the title, because obviously that's a pretty famous...
Yeah, the title is Blowing the Bloody Doors Off.
It's a fabulous book, and it's amazing, I mean, to think about this while you're sitting next to David, but you were considered by some to be too camp to make it as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this is true.
In the Ipcress file, I was trying to seduce the lady by cooking her a dinner in my flat. And so I went to the supermarket to get some food, and there was a scene in there
By the button mushrooms?
Yeah, I'm doing button mushrooms. And I came home and cooked the dinner for her in the kitchen. And when they saw the rushes in America, one of the executives wrote back to Sid Fury, the director, he said, the leading man is too effeminate. He wears glasses, cooks, and the next movie I did was Alfie, where I screwed everybody in the picture.
So you turned that one right on its head, right there. Am I right, you had a flat or an apartment in Chelsea, which you shared with Terence Stamp, who was the other kind of young up-and-coming actor at the time, maybe a bit before you, I think he'd had a hit.
Yeah, he did.
And
yeah.
John Barry, the great composer and scorer of films.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where in the 60s, everybody you knew became famous, you know, because I used to share a flat with Vidal Sassoon and get my hair cut by him. He was just a barber, you know, I didn't know he was going to be famous. You know, I went out and got drunk one night with John Barry, and I slept overnight in his place. And I got up in the morning and he'd written this tune, and he played it for me, and I was the first person in the world to hear Goldfinger, you know?
Did he have the lyrics? You knew it was going to be Goldfinger, or just the tune?
No, he just had the tune. No, we didn't sing it, no.
What was Sean Connery like? Because you became very close with him, and he's still with us, of course, but...
Well, Sean was amazing, because I met Sean when we were very young, and I was at a party on the Saturday night, and he came to the party after the show, you know, at about 11 o'clock. And I was there with two girls, and the reason for that was because in those days they used to say, bring a bottle and a bird, a bottle of wine and a bird, which is a girl. I know it's very you know, but I'm a big feminist, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. and I couldn't afford a bottle of wine. I didn't have enough money, so I bought two birds. And Sean came in and looked around the room, and he saw me, and I immediately became his new best friend, and he hadn't even spoken to me. And he was over, and that's how we became friends.
Amazing. You've been in 3 films this year, I believe, so you're not slowing down, it doesn't seem to me.
No, I'm not slowing down, but I don't take leading parts in movies anymore. I don't want to get up at 6:30 in the morning for 3 months, you know, no. So I do 2 weeks and then collapse.
And so do you still get offered? You get offered leading roles, though, and you just decide...
Oh, yeah. What was the last one I did?
Youth?
Youth, I did Youth, and the 3 old boys, the robbers, Morgan Freeman and Alan Arkin. It was amazing, because when you get old in movies, they take care of you, you know? And, for instance, Alan Arkin couldn't remember lines, you know, so he had them written on the wall everywhere and you know. And it was fine. Nobody cared, you know. We thought one day we'll have to do that, you know, when he goes. And then at the end of the movie, we're doing a scene on a bridge over a little river. And he's doing this dialogue there, leaning on the edge of the bridge. And I thought, bloody hell, he's done all this dialogue. And he hasn't got it. I was looking around, there was no lines. And then I looked over the bridge, and there's a woman in a barge with a big finger.
It's a really beautiful book. And, you know, let me just remind you, if you buy one book for Christmas this year, make it that one, because it's a fabulous book. Good too, buy two. But you talk about your life in it, you talk about acting, and you used to talk a little bit about your family, of course. You're a grandfather now. And your relationship, you've been married to Shakira for how many years now?
45 years.
45 years. Isn't that beautiful? That's so lovely. She's wonderful, of course.
Oh, yes, she really is wonderful, yeah.
What advice would you give to David, who is currently single, in what to look for in a partner, how to have a life partner of some meaning and profundity and longevity?
We're extending the programme, are we?
Give us a couple of snippets.
Well, no, my experience was I saw this lady on the television in a commercial and fell in love instantly. And it was a commercial for coffee in Brazil and everything, and an awful lot of coffee in Brazil was the tune. But I just watched her, and I thought, that's the woman for me. And I said to my mate, I said, we're going to Brazil in the morning, we're going to find her. and I went down the disco to my mate, to Johnny Gold in Tramp, where we all went. And we're sitting there, the three of us, and one of the guys came in. He said, where are you three? No girls? What's going on? I said, well, no, I said, I saw a beautiful girl on the television. I said, and I'm going to Brazil in the morning to find her. He said, I've been watching television all evening. I never saw any beautiful girls. I said, no, she wasn't in a show. She was in a commercial. He said, what's a commercial for? I said, Maxwell House Coffee. He said, we do that. I said, well, you know the Brazilian girl in it? I said, I'm going to Brazil in the morning to find her. Can you help me? He said, Michael, she's not Brazilian. She's Indian. I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah, and she lives in the Fulham Road. So, the moral of that tale, be prepared for it to come out of nowhere.
Well, please give him my love. There's one thing in the book I noticed. You talk about a relaxation technique you do when tense during moments when you're...
Yeah, I bend right over, and especially just before a take, when you need your brain, and you get your head right over between your knees so the blood rushes to your head.
So you really do this? This really helps you?
I really do it. Just
well, you can't demonstrate because your ankle.
I can't do it now,
would you mind?
My ankle.
David, would you stand up? Michael can tell you how to do it, and let's see whether. Okay. What do you do?
Now put your arms above your head. Now bend right over and touch your toes.
Well, Jonathan's around.
But no, you don't bend your knees, I guess, do you?
No, that's that. Now stay down there. Now come up very slowly, and as you come up, bring your arms down to your side. That's it. Now, take some deep breaths. Now you're ready to go.
I am relaxed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He bullies me, Sir Michael.
No, I don't.
He's jealous of me. He's jealous of me.
Oh, he's jealous of you, all right, yeah. I'm jealous of you. You made so much bloody money with those books.
How often you get to see your grandchildren? Let me do this again in English.
Grandchildren. Grandchildren. You can do it. You can do it.
You get to see the family quite a lot, I imagine. How often do you see the grandchildren? Are they around often?
I see them all the time.
How lovely.
Yeah.
That must be lovely.
Yeah, but they come most weekends, yeah.
Wow.
Because
and what do? You watch TV or you...?
No, the boys have got a football field, there's a swimming pool, there's a cinema, there's everything, you know, and so they love coming there.
I bet they do.
And I love them coming there. I adore my grandchildren. And it's the most amazing thing, when you get old, you're getting older and older and older, and you start thinking about getting old and slowing down and dying and everything. And then the grandchildren come, and your whole life starts all over again. Because you start living their life, not yours.
Isn't that lovely?
Which is so important to have these children. and especially to have grandchildren who love you as well. And my grandchildren do love me.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. Sir Michael Caine, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Michael. It's wonderful. Sir Michael Caine, he's going to stick with us for the rest of the show. Still to come on the programme, up next, Sue Perkins, Sarah Mo Farah and George Ezra chatting and performing. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get my next guest out. She is a fantastic presenter, a fantastic comedian and fantastic company. It is, of course, Sue Perkins.
You gave me a lovely skip.
I know, that's perfect.
Where have you been? Oh, hello, sweetie. Mwah, and a mwah. Oh, I could stay there for... Where am I going?
Come and sit down here, Sue. Come and sit down here. We
beautiful.
shuffle everyone along one place. Great to have you back on. Thank you for coming on the show.
Lovely to be here.
Sue has a book out as well, so I'm just going to say, Mo, I don't think you've written one yet, but you've got about another 10 minutes if you want to get back.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
I can do it.
working. If anyone can. Sue's book is kind of part travelogue, part autobiography. Would that be fair, I think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. East of Croydon it is, and this ties into the newly discovered part of your career, I guess, the travelogues you've been making, the film Travel Journeys.
Yeah. I mean, I went nowhere until the age of about 40.
Wow. You hadn't travelled much at all?
No, my parents didn't do foreign, so we went to Brighton on day trips until I was about 14, and then we went to Torremolinos for a week and baked, and then I got the opportunity to do this.
You talk in your book about going to different parts of Asia, which you really went the whole area. I think you went to the Ganges, we mentioned, the Mekong River, all over. No, so these were places you wanted to visit, or they just came your way because of the show?
Well, I think they wanted to cause me as much discomfort as possible. So they thought, this is someone who's never travelled. Let's pop her on a plane and then pop her on a river. And we were away for, like, 4 months a year while we did those shows. And in sometimes quite extreme circumstances. But I've got used to boats and I've got used to small flights. But the big ones I still can't do.
So are you an anxious person anyway? You have, like, issues like that,
I never used to be. I think more and more, yeah, I do worry about the full stop. You know, when you're young, you don't think about, you know, it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, I do worry about consequence. But my parents are quite nervous. My mum, very, very anxious, super anxious.
Give us an example.
Well, she's quite... When the anthrax scare happened about 20 years ago, she genuinely opened our mail with wearing marigold gloves for some reason. But when it comes to, like, personal safety, she's incredibly cavalier. So she's paranoid about the external world. Her own life, she couldn't give a monkey. So when I was about 15, she decided... So our house was on a little bank. She decided the best way to mow the front bank, rather than walk down it, would be just to attach a bit of string to the end of the fly mow and just drop it down. Right. Just drop back down the bank and then just pull it up again as the motor is whirring. Because what could possibly go wrong on a rainy day? So she's just pissing with rain and she drops it down and then it comes up and then she just slides underneath it.
Wow.
So there's this sort of cry and I go downstairs and panic. So my brother got to phone the ambulance and my sister was doing all stuff. And my mum went very white, but classic mum decided to respond to it by just listing everything that was in the chest freezer. So as the ambulance came, she'd go, we've got a Bernard Matthews turkey roll, that's top left. You go to the middle, that's the deep frozen mince. At the bottom, there's sausages. There's Yorkshires, they're pre-made, and then we move to the Viennetta. Deep down, there's a Viennetta. It's been chopped chip, that's what you're done. And it went on for about 15 minutes.
Hold on, you said the ambulance came, so she had got injured. What had happened with the fly mow?
She'd taken half her foot off.
Whoa.
Yeah, she lost 3 of her toes. So now what she does...
Hold on, you glossed over that to get to the Viennetta.
It's a Viennetta, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Viennetta.
I'm
a child of the 80s, that's like gold.
Wow.
So, yeah, she lost her middle toes. But when, I think Shoe Express, I'm not sure it's still going, but her favourite thing, because she's got 1 foot, I don't know why I'm laughing, 1 foot much smaller than the other, she likes to take 1 shoe off a size 7 and 1 off the size 5. Mix and match them.
So where are you going to next? Where are you going to... I think you've just come back from...
Japan, which I think is one of your favourite places.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you know what is big in Japan at the moment? Amazing owl in the world. It's huge.
It's a big thing.
Everyone's talking about it. I know people who work with you in Japan. They say, Mr. Ross, he's a man, a grown man, but he loves toys. That's what they say. He loves toys.
Let's move on to... let's talk about... you know, the thing I love about your books, and I really enjoy your book, because the travel side of it is great, and you would be a great companion. I would love to travel somewhere with you. But
always welcome.
you also talk about your family, and you talk about the death of your father.
Yeah.
Was it a cathartic experience writing about that?
It was a very grim 7 months, and I wanted to write about it. I especially having been to India and seeing how they deal with death there. You know, in Varanasi, when somebody dies, you burn them and you see the person that you love disintegrating. And in our culture, we put people in boxes and sort of send them away, and then we wonder why we can't grieve properly. So I did want to talk about it, and I spent a lot of time with him in the last 7 months, and, you know, all my family kind of cared for him. And it was awful and gut-wrenching and terrible, but sometimes very funny. I mean, I wanted to also talk about sometimes it brings you closer to family and you can laugh a lot. And it was extraordinary because just before he went into a coma, I had 4 days with him on my own when everyone else was taking a break. And I got him his pills and he could hardly see, but he grabbed me and said, "Do you know what, Susan?" He said, "You've always been the strong one." I thought, I literally couldn't cope. I was like, I've wasted all my life to hear this from my dad. This is such an affirmation. And I went to the kitchen and sort of tried to compose myself and everything. And I came back and he grabbed me again and he said, "Do you know what, Susan? You've always been the weak one." What are you talking about? I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What do you mean?"
You can't take it back.
And he didn't know what he'd said. So I said, "You just said I was a strong one." He said, "Did I?" I said, "It's really important that we stick with that narrative." "Which one am I?" He said, "Both." I said, "That's a cop-out." So it's like, it was amazing. It was like, I miss him, but writing about it connected me with everyone else who's had loss, and everyone has had loss, and it connected me with the memory of him, and I'm glad I did it. You know, it was, God, I had a lump in my throat as I wrote it, but he's sort of immortal now, and he's a decent bloke, and he should be, so
Well,
I'm glad.
it's a lovely part of the book, and, you know, as I said earlier...
Oh, there's a lot of books now.
If you buy one book this year, make it that one, OK? That's the one. Well, I need to talk about Mel a little bit, because, of course, we know Sue from Mel and Sue fame as much as your own work, of course. She was on at the very beginning of this series, and she was very, very drunk on the show. She was great
Doing
fun.
double teapot, I see. Classic move.
Now, was this did you see this? Is this surprising behaviour by her,
No.
or is this what you expect?
I mean, a thimble of alcohol will turn that giddy. I mean, she has no tolerance for booze.
Right.
You know, if she needs a homeopathic amount of Bacardi and she becomes a sociopath. So, yeah, she'd have had that much, I imagine.
I love seeing you guys together. I mean, I have an old clip of the two of you.
Oh, no!
But this is amazing. I'd never seen this, and I suspect you haven't seen it for a long while. It's from when you and Mel went on Stars in Their Eyes.
Oh, this is a visual and audio Kazi.
Oh, I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to let the clip speak for itself.
Oh, dear.
This was from the year 2000, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing.
I look like a cocker spaniel.
Tonight, Matthew, we're going to be Elaine Page and Barbara Dixon.
Elaine Page and Barbara Dixon! You thought you knew them so well until tonight, singing live, Mel and Sue are Elaine Page and Barbara Dixon!
Isn't it good? Oh, so good. Isn't it fun? Oh, so fun. Isn't it madness? He won't be mine. Didn't I know how it would go if I knew from the start? Why am I falling apart?
Amazing.
Do you know what? I love doing that show.
I bet you did.
It was great, but we tried to rehearse it. It became hysterical, because I kept seeing Mel's bobbing wig in the corner of my eye. So the whole thing had to be re-choreographed, so we never once can gaze at the other.
Yeah.
Because the we would come out. Yeah. I've still got a... We took that quite personally, that loss. We really invested in that.
I didn't realise you'd
Oh,
lost.
Claire Sweeney. I actually heard Melanie say, with no irony, semi-professional mates shouldn't be allowed. When she really lost her sense of humour. Yeah, well, he came a solid second there.
Sue's book is East of Croydon. It's a fabulous read. It's a very funny book, and there are moments of genuine, kind of touching, emotional moments of her life revealed as well. So it's a wonderful book. Ladies and gentlemen, Sue Perkins. Thank you, Sue. Let's get my next guest out of here. He is the most decorated British athlete in history and a genuine Olympic legend. It is the fabulous Sir Mo Farah.
Amazing story, love it.
So, Mo, so you're a sir. I mean, Michael's a sir. David, you're an OBE, but you'll never be a sir. I'm an OBE. You haven't got anything yet, but you will get something, I'm sure. When sirs meet, is there a special handshake or is there a wink you give each other?
No, it's just more of respect, isn't it? Obviously, see Michael.
I see.
It's incredible.
You feel you're entitled to talk to each other.
Last time I spoke to you, Mo, you just made the shift from track to road. You were going from athletics and that when you were cracking marathons, and you won your first marathon in October of this year, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Because it's a very different discipline. I mean, a different discipline, and it was a challenge for you to get there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Obviously, taking part in April before Chicago was doing the London Marathon, and that was nice to finish third, but kind of disappointed because it was at home and I really wanted to do well. So went to America, knuckled down with my coach, and just prepared. But I think having taken part in London, having racing against a lot of guys, definitely gave me a sort of hope and more of a moral, more thinking, I can do it, it's possible. And my second marathon to finish third was OK.
Yeah, well, it's better than most of us. Do you think the people who, the athletes who are already doing marathons, do you think they were furious when you switched over and they said, oh, God, here he comes, he's already got every goal going in?
Yeah, I think they were definitely thinking, oh, not him again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's what I love doing. I love going out there and, just enjoying.
So the next marathon for you then will be the London Marathon next year?
Yeah,
is that April?
April, yeah. So just announced that we're taking part in the London Marathon 2019 in end of April. And it's going to be exciting. Before that, I'll do similar things what I've done most of my years, which means involve high altitude training, up in the camp and, put in the work.
How far were you meant to run on a training day? Like, you're going out for, how many hours do you run for?
It depends. I do, when I'm training hard, I do about between 120 and close to 135. That's
What, 120 to 135 what?
Miles.
What?
Yeah. So it's in...
In
what?
In a week?
In a week?
Oh, my God. I don't think I've done that in my lifetime. Most of that has been on all fours.
Drive. Yeah. I mean, he swam 21 miles and made a big fuss about it. I
mean... With charity.
Thank you. Yeah, he is fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's amazing.
Thank you, Mo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Mo.
But do you physically enjoy the running?
No, I love it. I do enjoy it. And what makes me more loving than anything else is, when you take a break, when you take yourself away from it, and you, it's a different lifestyle and you enjoy with the kids, there's no running, and you actually kind of thinking about it and you're looking forward, getting back into training, and that's what drives you. And I said to myself, the day that I don't have that anymore and there's no drive, then I'll step away from it.
I love the fact that you're referring mainly to Sue when you're talking about...
I was going to say, he recognises a fellow athlete.
Yeah. And you're sitting there thinking, I'm enjoying being lumped in with this level of sportsmanship.
Oh, can everybody run? Because I'm not very good at it. I get very out of breath, and I wonder if that's because I'm just not pushing myself, because I don't have your drive, or whether there are certain body types that are suited to running and certain types that aren't.
I think anybody can run, but obviously it's easy is with certain body type, like myself.
When I try and run, it's actually slower than when I walk.
You
get nowhere like this. Am I running or what's happening?
Those arms are busy, aren't they?
Yes, you see,
I do very little running.
Well, Michael, you can't run at the moment with your ankle, but presumably you run over the years.
Oh, yeah, I was a good runner. Yeah, not as good as him, but...
But you never learned to drive till pretty late in life, did you?
No, I learned to drive in Los Angeles when I was 50.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because there's no buses or tube in Los Angeles.
So you had to?
Or taxis.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So I had to learn to drive. And when I did my test, I went to go to the car, and this woman who was in charge, she said, now, you will listen to what the instructor says. You will not have a conversation with him. He said, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I was nervous, and I said, OK, I'm sorry, I won't say anything. And I got in the car, and he looked at me, the man, and he says to me, I saw you in a man who would be king. You're going to have to be shit not to pass this test.
I'm going to ask you a big question, Amal. It was been hinted that you might return to track events for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, OK? And obviously, if you did, that would be exciting, and it would be a big story, and we'd be very excited to hear you say that. I don't know whether you've made up your mind yet, but are you thinking of going in that direction?
Yeah, no, definitely. Something like a jelly. Okay.
So you will be back. 2020, the Olympics. You're going to go
I
back
definitely
in.
want to be back if I'm capable of getting a medal for my country. It's one of those things where you put yourself in that position. Can you win a medal? Where are you at? And at the same time, in my career, I love to be able to finish on a high. I've always done that. But when I watch my fellow athletes and people I've competed against, it's
Still looking at me.
Yeah,
it just looks too easy. It just looks.
But would you do it then? You are going to do it?
Yeah, I'm considering.
Come on. Come on.
Listen,
No,
how
I'm
it
not
is.
asking. I know you're considering. What I'm asking is, are you going to?
If I'm capable of winning a medal, I'll definitely go.
Only you. I can't tell you that.
But we'll find out after 2019, right? Well, 2019 World Championship in Doha.
So let me get this right then. So you're running the London Marathon, but then you are returning to track events for Doha.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Wow, so you're back in. There you go. Amazing. You know, I made a little joke about you both being knights when you came on, but of course it's an amazing honour and fully deserved as well. And so you were knighted by the Queen. You were knighted by the Queen as well, I believe. Presumably she must know what you've achieved. And is she a fan of athletics? You know, was she watching what you were doing?
She knows I do running, and she knows I run awfully long, but she goes, when are you going to retire? I was like, I'm not ready to retire. And she's like, you've been going awfully long time, like.
Wow.
And I was like, OK.
That sounds like she's... I mean, that's a little bit bitchy. I'll be honest.
That's not, it was just kind of...
That's a buzzkill, isn't it?
I think she just knew I'd just run around all the time.
Well, she's probably thinking, yeah, have a rest, have a rest. You achieved so much, have a rest.
Charles is behind her going, why don't you retire?
Yeah, you're a fine one to talk, yeah. I was so pleased when I heard you won the marathon, because I know how much you mean to you. And I'm very excited that you're going back to track as well. That's going to be an exciting thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see you bringing home gold again in 2020.
No,
I think that would be... Mo Farah, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Mo Farah. Mo, thank you so much. Amazing, amazing. Still to come on the show, I will be chatting to George Ezra. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out. He's performing at the end of the show as well, but we're going to have a quick chat with him right now. Let's remind ourselves of one of 2018's biggest hits, though. This is, of course, George Ezra with Shotgun.
I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone.
Will you please welcome Mr. George Ezra? So, George, well, congratulations. What a great year 2018's been for you. That's your first UK #1 single, your second UK #1 album. That's a pretty good year to look back on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's only my second time round releasing an album. I think the thing that stands out to me is I'm just able to appreciate it more. And it's not that the first time round I was going, yeah, of course, mate, yeah, no problem. The first time I was like a rabbit in the headlights.
Yeah. So it was so new.
Yeah, everything I did was a new experience, and every time I'd wake up in the morning, everything I was doing was for the first time. And you kind of, or at least I didn't give myself a second just to take it in.
What, to enjoy it, you mean, or to process it, to understand it?
I think I enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed it at the speed of light. So at the end of it, I went, whoa, what's happened?
Yeah.
Whereas this time round, I don't know, it's easier for me to enjoy it in real time.
So you are savouring it more?
Yeah, man.
So what does that mean? So you get up in the morning and you go, yeah. Hit single.
Yeah, not...
Shotgun, boom. My year, my year. OK, so the album, Staying at Tamara's, I believe you've already spoken about the fact that this is Tamara's, the woman you were staying in a house that you got on Airbnb.
Yeah, I'm not officially allowed to say it was Airbnb.
OK. You were staying in a woman's house who you didn't know that well beforehand.
Yeah.
But had you had hits here? Did they know who George Ezra was? Were they aware of your performing?
I walked up with a guitar and was kind of thinking this might be a giveaway, if anything.
Bit of a clue.
Maybe about 2 weeks in, me and Tamara were sharing some red wine and we were sat around and she was a big music fan. And she said, oh, you've got a guitar, do you play? And now I'm faced with an option. I quite like my anonymity. And I was going, do I tell her? And A little bit. This is what I said. I said, I dabble. And she said, oh, do you have anything on the internet? Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. OK, what do I type in? So I said, well, if you type George Ezra into Spotify, and I had to tell her how to spell it and all of this, and it was all becoming a bit of a carry-on, like, I wish I'd just said no. And then she loads the page, and at this point, and I'm only saying this for context, but Budapest, which was a song of mine, had over 300 million plays. Wow. So she looked at me, said, what the fuck are you doing here?
So you're fairly well known in Europe, we know that. You're obviously a big star here. In America, I know they're getting to know you. But what about, Suja's come from various countries in Asia. Do they know you over there? Are you popular in Korea? Are you popular in Japan?
Now, we do quite well in Australia. So we get invited to go and play shows in Australia. It's always a pleasure, but it's quite a long way to get to Australia. Now,
geographically speaking.
Yeah. Now, some of my peers, what they'll do is they'll tie in a tour of Asia and so to get down there.
You'll hop over halfway to Asia and then carry on, yeah?
Not an option. I heard that Asian Sony Music said that my voice was too deep for them to market. Now, I don't know if this is someone winding me up. I don't know. I pretended like I didn't care when they told me, like, I don't want to play in Asia anyway, mate. I'm fine.
It's not a big market.
Yeah.
No.
So they're thinking Japanese people won't like you because your voice is too low?
Yeah, bear in mind, this was just a bloke in the pub that told me this.
Yeah. There's someone from Sunday, it's amazing. Because your voice you do have a distinctive, it's quite a... Is it a baritone? Is that what you have there?
I don't think it is. This is another thing. I think I have quite an average voice, as you'll soon see. But what it is the tone, I think, is what makes it deep.
Because it's kind of like that kind
of thing. It just... yeah.
But it is, isn't it? Oh, it's like a kind of... No, but I'm not... It's got that kind of quality.
I'll tell you, my debut to the stage, I was about 13 or 14 years old. And I was in a band, and we played in the local venue back home.
What was the name of the band?
We were called The Strange.
The Strange.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cool name for 13-year-olds to sat on, yeah. The Strange.
And my job in that show was to stand on stage until the female part of Teenage Dirtbag step up to the microphone, belt it out.
Wow. That's high as well.
Yeah, I was 13.
So what's about that? Is that, I'm just a teenager.
Yeah, it's the... I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby.
That's kind of beautiful.
And it's on the phone.
That is a Japanese tour waiting to happen right there. Sam Smith's at home shitting himself. George's album, Staying at Tomorrow's, has been... it's your second #1 album. So congratulations. That's really lovely news. What a great year for you. George is going to sing for us now. The song is Hold My Girl. Mr. George Ezra, ladies and gentlemen. George, thank you so much. Please come over there. OK. Well, George heads over to perform. Will you join me in saying thank you to all my guests tonight? Sir Mo Farah, Sue Perkins, Sir Michael Caine and Mr. David Walliams, OBE. But now, performing Hold My Girl, it is Mr. George Ezra.
I've been waiting for you to come around and tell me the truth about everything that you're going through. My girl, you've got nothing to lose. Cold nights and Sunday mornings on your way and out of the grave. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town, silent bed, pick a place to rest your head. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. I've been dreaming about us, working hard and saving it up. see the man on the moon. My girl, we've got nothing to lose. Cold nights and the sunny mornings on your way out of the grave. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town, silent bed, pick a place to rest your head. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. My girl, my girl. It takes one hot second to turn it around. It takes one hot second to turn it around. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town, silent bed, pick a place to rest your head. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl.
George